Back. Let us start our discussion, continue our discussion regarding the system modeling and analysis of the mechatronic system for the stability purpose. So far, we have discussed that there is a specific procedure for modeling of the system, mathematical modeling of the system, and then we go for the analysis purpose. We try to gather the information about the system stability. So first, we describe the system into some with the help of some differential equation. Then we consider all the initial conditions to be zero, and then we take the Laplace transform of the differential equation so as to uh, it will be easy for us to solve the problem. And then we'll find out the transfer function, and then we equate the numerator and denominator of the transfer function to 0 for the identification of the zeros and poles respectively. So here we'll solve one problem which is on the mathematical modeling of the mechanical system. So for the system which is shown in this diagram, we assume that the mass is having 1 kg. This is a mass spring damper system. Stiffness of the spring is 2 Newton per meter, and the damping factor is 0.5 Newton second per meter. Also, the force designated by F, it is in newtons, and because of the applied force, the displacement is experienced in the system under observation. So that displacement output is in meters. It is important to note that here the input for the system is force and output is displacement. So for this particular system, we are expected to determine the transfer function. Then we have to identify the location of the poles and zeros. And after the identification of poles and zeros, we are supposed to comment on the stability of the system. As we know that with our previous knowledge of the mathematical modeling of the mechanical system, that is spring mass damper system, this this system is represented in its mathematical form with the help of differential equation as F is equal to m into d2y by dt square plus d into dy by dt plus k into y, where your y is the displacement, dy by dx is the rate of change of displacement, that is velocity, and d2y by dt square is an acceleration. Putting the values of your mass, then stiffness of the spring, and the damping factor into the above differential equation, we can rewrite this equation as F into d2y by dt square, since mass is having value 1 kg, plus damping factor is 0.5 newtons second per meter, that's why 0.5 dy by dt plus 2y. As per our standard procedure, we consider that initial conditions are 0, and we take the Laplace of both sides of this differential equation. Now here I would like to tell you what the Laplace of f of t is. It is f of s. Then if we can find out the Laplace of d by dt of f of t, that is differential of f of t. It is equal to s into f of s, and Laplace of d2y by dt square f of t, it is s square f of s. These are the standard equation that we can get from the Laplace transform. So here, instead of d2y by dt square, we can, if we take the Laplace transform, it is coming out to be s square into, instead of f of s over here we are differentiating to the polynomial y, that's why it is y of s. Then 0.5 dy by dt. So for dy by dt, it is s into f of s. So I'll be writing over here s into y of s and zero point 0.5, which is a damping factor. And for simply f of t, this y is f of t. So here the Laplace transform is f of s. So I'll be writing 2 into y of s. Rearranging the equation, or taking out the term y of s common, I can rewrite this equation as f of s is equal to s square plus 0.5 s plus 2 into y of s. Again, recall that force is the input to the system and y is the output to the system, that is displacement occurring for the mass, that is your output to the system. Then we take the find out the ratio of input to output, that is your transfer function, which is equal to 1 upon s square plus 0.5 s plus 2. So this is a transfer function for the given system. Point number 1 is over. For the given system, the transformation is this one, 1 upon s square plus 0.5 s plus 2. Over here, I haven't written over here 1 for the mass because it is obvious. But if there is some other value for the mass, you can write over here. So it is a second order differential equation. Now, next task is to identify the location of poles and zeros. Now, for location of the poles and zeros, we need to first find out the values of poles and zeros, and then we have to plot those values on the S-plane diagram. So if we talk of the zeros, so zeros can be found out if we compare the numerator equal to 0. Okay, so that then the transfer function will be 0, and you can find out the roots of the numerator, and that will be the zeros of the system. Since here there are no zeros involved for this particular system, so for estimating the poles, we have to equate this denominator of the transfer function to 0, so that the transfer function will become infinite. Once we equate this denominator equal to 0, we can find out the roots. So here we are equating the denominator of the transfer function equal to 0, that is s square plus 0.5 s plus 2 equal to 0, and we will find out the roots of the equation. These are coming out to be, first root I am designating as p1, that is minus 0.25 plus 1.3919i, and second root is minus 0.25 minus 1.3919i. So these are the two poles having real and imaginary part. Now I'll plot these poles on the S-plane diagram. Now S-plane diagram, as you know, are having two axes. horizontal axis on which we plot the real numbers, and the vertical axis on which we plot the imaginary numbers. So first we will plot the real part. So real part it is minus 0.25, okay, over here. So it is minus 0.25, and the imaginary part is first is plus 1.3919 I. So it is plus 1.3919 I, and another one is minus 1.3919 I. So that is the second one over here. Now on the left side of the S-plane diagram, if the poles are located, so that region is stable region, and if the poles are falling inside the stable region, we can conclude that the system is stable. On the other side, if the poles are located on the right hand side of the S-plane diagram, we can say that that region is unstable region and your system is also unstable. So in this case, in the present case, the poles are located in the stable region. That's why we can say that the system is a stable system. So this is how any practical system, it may be a mechanical system, it may be a thermal system, it may be a fluid system. You can model any kind of system with the elements in that are comprising of that system. You can model that system with the help of some known mathematical differential equations. You can find out the transfer function by taking the Laplace and considering the initial conditions to be 0. Then you need to find out the poles and the zeros, and the location of the poles and zeros. If you plot it on the S-plane diagram, you will get an idea whether your system is stable or it is unstable one. Now that is mentioned in the stability analysis based on the location of the pole. It is said that for all initial condition, if the response of the system decays to equilibrium, the system is presumed to be stable at large. That absolute stability, whether stability or not, there is relative stability, stable under what condition. So these are the two types of stability involved. Absolute, whether the system is really stable or not, or if some conditions are happening, in that case whether your system is stable or not, that gives us the idea about the relative stability. If the real part of the poles of a given system, if it is on the left side of the S plane, as we discussed in the last problem, the system is said to be stable at large. So it decays to equilibrium, and we presume that the system is stable when the real part of the poles of the given system which falling on the left hand side of the S plane. In case of the poles are a complex conjugate pair and their real part must be negative. So in the previous problem, the poles that we have found out, it is having a complex conjugate pair, and the real part of that poles or the complex conjugate pair must be negative. That is for the system to be in the stable. So in last problem we have it is minus 0.25. So that is falling on the left side of the system, left side of the S plane. So that's why we can conclude that the system is stable. If any poles have a value 0, the system is deemed to be marginally stable. So if we encounter some of the values of the poles having 0, we can comment that the system is marginally stable. And if the poles are positive or have a positive real part, the system is deemed to be unstable. If the real part of the poles that we are finding out, if those real parts are sign positive, we can say that the system is unstable, obviously because the positive parts are finding their location on the right hand side of the S plane, which is an unstable